What's up, everybody? This is Brian Boyle from BrianBoyleMusic.com and the Producers Forum, back again with another Pro Tools tutorial, this time on how to record vocals. So let's get started. In this video, we're going to be talking about the two most common ways to record vocals. They are directly to the track, in which you add the plugins afterwards, and also through a mono auxiliary input, in which I've dubbed the sort of Guerilla preamp or free amp, where you can put the EQ, compression, and slight pitch correction on the auxiliary input, run the audio through that, and then bust it out to an audio track where it's already processed. And that can be beneficial because it saves CPU processing power down the road. But that's enough talk, let's just get into Pro Tools. Alright, so I've got my Pro Tools session open here. It is called Recording Vocals, and the first thing that you're going to want to do is create a new mono audio track. So we're going to go up to Track, New, Create One, New Mono Audio Track. Create, and there you go. Now, I've got my microphone plugged into input 1 on the back of my MBox 2. Also, if you have phantom power, if your mic runs off phantom power, you're going to want to make sure that the button on your MBox that has 48V on it, 48V, I think it stands for 48 volts, but that's your phantom power, and that's what gives power to your microphone if you haven't been able to get it to work. Once you've got your microphone plugged into the back of the MBox, your 48 volts turned on if your mic requires phantom power, you're also going to want to make sure that the input of that audio track matches where you've got your microphone plugged in. So I've got mine plugged into input 1. I'm going to switch to my mix window and make sure that my input is set to interface in 1 mono. Once you've got that all good to go, you hit prime to record. And there you go, you can see my voice is actually coming through now. So once you see the voice is coming through, you're ready to record. You hit prime to record, the space bar, and now everything that I talk or speak and say is recorded. So that's how you record directly to track. Alright, so the next way that I wanted to show you is the sort of preamp, Guerilla preamp, free amp, or whatever you want to call it, version that I generally like to use. And what you do first is you go to Track, New, and again we're going to create a new mono audio track, but we're also going to create a new mono auxiliary input. Once you create the two of those, you're going to make the input of the auxiliary track the same as where your microphone is plugged in. So the signal from the microphone is going to be channeled into your auxiliary track. In this case, I'm plugged into input 1, so I'm going to change it to interface 1 mono. Now you can see that the audio from my voice is actually coming through. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add an EQ. When I do vocals, I generally like to high pass, so I'm going to take out some of the lows, just leave it like that, and we're also going to compress it. Let's make it a little bit more drastic. There you go, you can see it acting on the audio. Now, because I can't record directly onto an auxiliary input, I'm going to bus this audio out to bus 1 and change the input of audio 1 to bus 1. Now, the audio is coming into input 1, through the EQ, then getting compressed, bust out, which is the input of audio 1, and recorded onto the track. The reason I like to do it this way is because this way, if I have 15 different audio tracks within a session, they don't all need to be EQ'd and compressed and pitch corrected and whatever you want to do to process them. This way, they're already printed directly onto the track, EQ'd and compressed, so you don't even have to worry about adding those plugins later. This saves you a tremendous amount of CPU power and just makes the overall flow of the session go a little bit better. So now if I record, it's going to be both EQ'd and compressed. Check, 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 check. So you can see there, Obviously the volume of my voice went up, although because it went through a compressor, it you don't really see the dramatic increase in dynamic range of the waveforms. So that's just another way of recording vocals. It sends it through an aux input, and you know, you can process it a little bit. That way you're not adding tons and tons of plugins later in the process, and overall just saves you CPU power down the road. Some drawbacks are that it does print it directly to the track, so you can't have the original file with those low frequencies in there and the uncompressed version. So there's a little bit of give and take, but usually if you get your settings the way that you like them, you know, there's no real reason why you can't print the track anyway. So that's it for this video on how to record vocals. I hope it was helpful. If you liked what you saw, please subscribe and follow me on Twitter at Boyle Music. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time.